Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Spanish Sling, a podcast where we try to bridge the gap between the Spanish and Singaporean companies and encourage economic relations between them. Today we wanted to understand the healthcare ecosystem with its healthcare and biotech and medtech companies. This is why today we welcome to the Spanish Sling Joshua Lim, General Manager at Medtec Actuator, which is a Singapore-based accelerator for MedTech, BioTech, and HealthTech ventures. So, welcome Joshua, and
Hello,
thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
So, for anyone who may be listening and is not really familiar with the healthcare ecosystem here in Singapore, can you describe it a little bit?
Of course. So Singapore has structured its healthcare in a way that is meant to serve the public service. Right. So 70% of Singapore's healthcare setting is done through the public health sector.
Wow.
And there are different clusters in the public health sector. So we have three main clusters, which helps to serve the different regions of Singapore. And each cluster consists of a tertiary hospital, a specialist care, as well as primary care. The rest of the healthcare is just done by private players such as Raffles Medical or private GPs such as Fullerton Health or Doctor Anywhere.
Wow, so I think that the system is kind of similar with Spain.
Yeah.
Being the public healthcare system the biggest one and the most powerful one.
That's right.
And in terms of investment, so where do the health tech and biotech companies get the investment from? Does the government help in any way?
Yes, certainly. So for very early stage investments, generally the government helps by giving up to $500,000 worth of innovation funds.
Wow!
It's very generous.
Yeah.
Yes, and this helps them to de-risk the technology, so they can use it for manufacturing, they can use it for prototyping, they can use it for pilot clinical trials. Right. So this puts the technology in a very validated state, so that it's easier for investors to pick it up as well. So further down the innovation line, investors and corporates will then take over the investments of the house, and they help to bring the technologies out to market. So different investors would have different purposes. So for private investors, they tend to connect them regionally. For corporate players, they tend to lend the corporate strength through the innovation to help the startups to go to market as well.
I see. And why healthcare companies may be so interested in Singapore? What is the appeal of Singapore?
That's a very good question. So like I mentioned earlier, Singapore has a really quality healthcare system. A testament to that is that we manage healthcare very well, and COVID is very well managed over here. Right. So the regional countries do take note of it, and they do take Singapore as a reference as well. So some of our clinical key opinion leaders are also helping to develop the healthcare in the regional countries too. So for what this means for healthcare startups is that when they come here, they work with us, they get adopted by the Singapore system. It's a brand check, right? A testament to their quality and their innovation. And at the same time, using Singapore as a base is very close proximity to the rest of the countries around the region, right? So the Made in Singapore brand holds some sway over the rest of the countries, and it's easier for them to penetrate the rest of the countries that way as well.
Yes, so many good points for Singapore. And what are the technologies that have been more prevalent and relevant during the past years in the sector?
Okay, so that's another good question, Clara. So traditionally, Singapore is focused on healthcare, biotech, right? Because biotech, you need to manufacture it. They can actually grow the economic sector in Singapore through the manufacturing sites. So Singapore is host to the world's top 50 healthcare companies, and the top 10, out of these top 10, 8 of them actually have headquarters in Singapore as well. So they manufacture in Singapore, they do R&D in Singapore for the Asia Pacific region. Right. So traditionally, we have always focused on biotech. Recently, there's a push towards medical devices. Right. So A-Star, the National Research Agency, has actually done more research into medical devices. And we also brought in more medical device companies as well. So moving forward, I think digital health would be the focus area, especially due to COVID. When you want to actually send people out of the hospitals, you want to monitor them, you still want to look after them. Digital health helps to play a part in this as well.
And has COVID and the pandemic has shaped or affected the sector in some way?
Yes, definitely. So digital health has actually come to the forefront of many people's minds, especially for the non-elective surgeries or the general chronic disease management. Right. So in these few areas, digital health plays a more prominent role. In fact, one of our startups, XCLR8, is also in the remote rehabilitation technology. So this is what we do see a trend over here. We also do see a growing trend towards new technologies like metaverse and blockchain. So to track patients' medication adherence, blockchain is a fantastic platform for that. In terms of treating a patient remotely, metaverse is also a very good platform for that as well.
Yeah. Well, you have discussed about the digital technologies and the metaverse. So this is how you envision the future for the sector.
Definitely. Yeah.
So what are the key elements for the new companies that will appear in the sector and the technologies that they will be using?
Okay, so these new companies definitely have to have a differentiated product. They have to have innovation, right? It's not enough to just have incremental innovation. They need to have a differentiated innovation, and this innovation needs to be able to meet unmet need in healthcare, right? So it is no longer cheaper, faster, better method. They actually have to have a radical change as well. Yeah, so that's very important for new companies coming in. They have to think about this, and they have to actually see how they can apply this to the ecosystem too.
Yes, so really important for new companies to have a differentiated innovation.
That's right.
That's right. Thank you so much, Joshua, for kind of giving us all the whole idea of the healthcare ecosystem.
My pleasure.
And all this kind of details that it will be really important and interesting for the companies. Thank you so much.
That's good.